Who needs the laundry? We don't need to do the laundry. It can do itself, right?
I wish. I like hate doing my laundry.
I know, this is the reason why I taught our daughter how to fold laundry. I mean,
Fair
I'm
enough. Fair enough.
not gonna lie. She's also really good at it. That's another reason why I
Hey,
didn't. We watched Marie Kondo, The Art of Tidying Up.
Ooh.
She loved it. She went right into her room and she organized everything the way Marie Kondo teaches. I'm like, girl, I got a book. You want to read it? She's like, looked at it. She goes, nope, it's okay. No pictures in there, right? So I'm like, okay, fine. The show is enough for you. So she goes and she organizes once in a while. But it actually helped her to start folding clothes. She was
Nice.
good, but with that show, she became that much better.
Nice. So it's funny, I've been starting to do this thing with couples in my life. And, because I feel like the most things they argue about is the household stuff. So my friends, they would fight about that. And she's always like, oh, I have to do everything. And I'm like, all right, we're going to have a little counseling session here. I'll be your counselor for the day. And because he was like taking his 6-week maternity leave for dads. So he was at home all the time. So I sat them down. I was like, okay, what do you not like to do? Tell me, like in the household, what do you not like to do? And he was like, well, I hate to like clean off the dishes because when there's food in the sink, like it disgusts me and I almost gag. And I was like, okay. And I asked my friend, I was like, do you mind doing that? And she's like, no, but then I have to put them away. And I was like, okay. So what about you put them in the dishwasher and clean them off? And do you think you could unload them once they're done? And he was like, yeah, I guess I could do that. I'm like, okay, so there's compromise. And he was like, well, I really like doing the laundry. And I'm like, perfect. But then my friend goes, yeah, but he only likes to do his laundry. And I'm like, ew. Okay. I'm like, so why can't you help do everyone's laundry instead of just your own? And if you need help to fold the laundry, then we can do that. And I've also been teaching my mom with her husband. It's like guys don't just look at something and are like, I'm going to do that. You have to tell them to do something, and it's an everyday thing.
Well,
Hey,
actually, some will actually do things. My
I
husband
agree.
is one of those who will say, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. He's been raised to clean since he was little. I think
Yeah.
since he can remember, I think maybe 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Every Friday they would clean, and he had his chores, responsibilities, and his brothers had their own, right?
Nice.
So some men were raised that way, but for the most part,
No, I do agree because my ex, I have to get used to saying that. He is super clean. Our room would get cleaned every single week and deep cleaned. And I'm like, oh, I love you. You're awesome. I don't even have to do anything. But I do get it. For other people, it is hard. And it's hard to ask for help. That's always the biggest thing. We as humans have trouble asking for help. So when I need more help, it's okay to be like, hey, can you do that today? Because I don't feel like I'm able to do that. But we have a hard time discussing and communicating that with other people around us.
Yeah, that's something I've been working on a lot. Like, I've been lately asking for help and just being like, all right, I need you to do this, please. And it's been so freeing. I agree.
Even just now, my grandma needed to go to the doctors. And my cousin isn't feeling good, so she doesn't feel like she wants to get in the car with my grandma. So everyone was just like, can you do it? Of course I can. But then I went upstairs to my grandma and she said, I'm so sorry that you have to. And I was, why? Like, there is no need to be sorry. we are teaching you how to accept help so that your kids can also see that it's okay to ask for help sometimes.
Yeah, I believe it's very important for us to not pretend like we have it all together for the sake of our children, because here's the biggest reason why. If a child watches the parent and all they see is how perfect the parent is, it can create a lot of internal struggle as they grow up, because they'll start comparing themselves to their parent. Well, my mom always had her shit together. My mom did this, my mom did that, my mom did that, my mom never cried, my mom was perfect, and I'm not. So it's important for us as parents to show our kids that it's okay to feel broken. It's okay to cry. It's okay to have a messy house once in a while. It's okay to lose our shit once in a while. It's okay to be broken in some places, some days.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, explain to them and help them understand what is really going on here. Obviously, maybe not the whole entire thing, because some things are not meant for the kids to be heard. But in us being ourselves with our children allows them to fully understand the whole spectrum of human emotion and relationships and expectations and everything, responsibilities as well.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Because right now with my family, it's breaking all of those things that they saw. And I keep telling my aunt and my mom, just because grandma was that way does not mean that you need to be that way. Same with my dad. Just because you witnessed it and you sit there and say that you don't like those parts of your parent, so why are you mimicking those parts?
Yeah.
See, I, as a younger kid, again, I followed my intuition. It was crazy how in tune I was with myself, but I saw my parents as lessons for me. And
Yeah.
I said, I see what you are doing, the bad things you are doing, and I don't want to follow in your footsteps. Because on one hand, my dad is an addict. I don't even want to do that. I know I have some addiction problems, but not with substances, thankfully. Mine are more food and sex. So, and I've been overcoming them, but we all have them.
Yeah.
And right. And then for my mom, I mean, she always just played that victim card all the time. She was in that level 1 energy just all the time. All the time. Yeah. And I always saw her and people would walk all over her and she would just have this made up story in her head. And I always was like, I don't want to be like that. I
Yeah.
really.
But here's the thing, though, with the made up stories, they are in a way made up, but they are made up based on the assumptions and interpretations. The ones that we went through in the workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Because when something happens to us, right? When something happens to our mothers as they're growing up, because my mom had a pretty difficult life. Just a quick summary. She was the oldest of 7 kids who was responsible for making sure she gets A's and taking care of her 6 siblings. Okay. Her mom was working 2 full-time jobs. Her dad was an alcoholic. This was almost every father in Russia was that way. And she was responsible for a lot of things at a young age. So completely understandable. And a lot of the ways that we grew up as children, we take into our adulthood. When something happens, we make a certain assumption, a certain interpretation based on what happened, and we make it our own. It becomes part of our internal messaging. Now, does it mean that's exactly what happened? Does it mean that that's what that person meant? Absolutely not. It's just how we make it sound and how we understand what happened in that particular situation, right? Mm-hmm. And then that is where we allow ourselves to become the victim in our own story, which again is not necessarily the truth, but it is true to that individual. So I wanted to normalize it in case my mom hears it. You never know.
Right.
Remind all the other moms that hear it, and even myself as a mom, because I have done that myself. And I mean, I still do that. But the difference is now I've gotten myself to a point where I become very quickly aware of what's happening before it becomes another story that keeps replaying that I do not want. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting you guys talk about like the whole parent thing. So something interesting happened last night. So I have decorations up for Christmas, it's that time of year, of course. But so Uriah was playing and he hits this nativity scene that I have. And I for a second, I felt like it was like an out of body experience when I look back at it. And like I walk over, I just start yelling like, no, you can't do that. And Brian just looks at me. He's like, I think you've been traumatized by your parents for doing that to you. And at first I was like, excuse me? Like, what did you say? Like, what do you mean? And then I had to stop and I was like, you know what? He's right. Yeah, exactly. Like, I was like, he's right. Like, I got yelled at for if I touched the decorations. There's one time when me and a cousin were messing around and we were throwing around a pillow or a hat or something and it hit a decoration and it broke. And I got yelled at. Same instance but see, I didn't break anything. So I was just like, nothing happened. And I had to do some coaching work for myself and be like, all right, what's going on? Like, let's take a chill pill. Ego's coming up here. And I even expressed that to Brian. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like the ego it's strong.
And those triggers that happen.
Yep, exactly. And he brought it up to me and I just was like, wow, you're so right. It is like, there's a lot of, my parents were more on the anger side, I feel like growing up. But as I got older, I believe they probably went through personal growth and they changed because it was a total 180, by the time I was a preteen or teenager. But yeah, it was interesting because it was like, that was my inner child that got wounded. And that's a story that I held around with me and I didn't really realize it. And it was that control too, of having to control this situation, don't touch the decorations. And I've been wanting to let go of that. I let Uriah put the Christmas ornaments on the tree this year. The last 2 years, no, I did it. I didn't even let him touch it. But I'm like, these are plastic. What's the worst that's going to happen? I have to go get more. So it was a cool growing little thing, but it was right after the workshop and I was like, ew, this is not me. I had to kind of be like, hey, you remember your job, guys. Because I have named my my gremlin and my ego, and I've named my higher self too. So I had to be like that Ophelia, that's my ego, and my higher self, her name is Iris, and of course there's me, Bethany. And then there's Gretchen, the gremlin. So, I mean, sure, to some people, it's gonna be like, wow, does she have multiple personalities or whatever? But it's just, no, of course not. It just helps me kind of put them into place. So the ego and, your gremlin and get the Iris, the higher self, all up and going. But I had to remind Ophelia, let's calm down. Remember your job. And then, of course, Gretchen came out and she's like, oh, I'm scared, terrified. And when anger happens to me, I tend to get anxious. It's a trigger because of my childhood. And so, yeah, it was cool to work through that, though, and be like, wow, okay. And I used some of the stuff with what we learned in the workshop. So that was cool. It was real life application.
I love hearing that. And I love how you named that you have basically 4 names for yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not multiple personalities. It is one personality, but different parts of you that in the end create you and you're, hey. He's so big.
Okay, bye.
He's like, I want a drink. I'm like, go ask Dad. He's like, okay. He's like, I missed you. But I'm sorry. Yeah. But I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt
Oh no, it's okay. I know how it is with kids because when they're gonna be home, Friday's their last day, and my daughter's like, because it's her birthday on Friday, she's gonna be 11, so she's like, "Mommy, can I stay home for my birthday?" And my son, he goes, "Yes, yes, mommy, you should let her stay home. And can I stay home too, so we can all celebrate Mila's birthday?" And I'm like, "No." No, because if you stay home, we'll be cleaning all day. No, I don't want your birthday. I'm like, well, I'd like to have one last day to myself before I have you guys for 2 weeks at home. Right? And I know you guys are excited, but it's only like half day until 2 o'clock. You can handle it. You can say bye. You can get your birthday wishes from everyone.
Right?
Right? Why not? So they're going to be going.
Hey, I mean, you could party on the weekend, party. But you're saying you thought it was interesting, like with that I named, and then that's why I lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the four names that you have for yourself, right? Different parts of you. I find it interesting, and I love that approach. I know we discussed it a while back as well. That it's like it creates awareness to who is showing up right now. It's you, but what part of you right now has taken over? When it's the ego that's taking over, it's like whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Take a chill pill, right? Aphelia, right?
Yep.
Okay. So this is when you can say, Aphelia, I hear you, sister. I got it. Back the F up. Okay. When Gretchen comes up, it's like, ooh, I see you, Gretchen. I hear you. Okay. I don't need you right now. Or, yes, okay, let's go hug it out. Let's hang together for a little while, right? Because we can choose to hang out with that part of ourselves and embrace it and see what's in there for us, or give them a boot or say, it's okay, thank you, right? And then the higher coach is like, ooh, yes, sister, let's go, let's hang out, let's party.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, when you say awareness, it's like, yeah, exactly. It brought awareness to like all those different areas. So, and it helps me bring unity to my body because I'm like, all right, girls, we gotta need unity. Let's come together.
That balance within each
Yes.
other.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
balance is health.
And it
So,
is,
Yeah.
like you said, because for me, I've been noticing right now, I'm living with my grandma and my aunt. So, and this house represents a lot of my past traumas and a lot of my triggers. So, living here, I love it because it takes me back to that time and I get to sit with myself and be like, hey, these triggers had an effect on me when I was younger, but I'm recognizing them now and I'm going to do something about them. I'm not going to allow them to overtake me. But I do see that there's still a part of me that needs to heal and needs to let it go. Now, whether that is when that emotion comes up, let's say an example, my cousin was living here. And to me, my grandma does have favorites. And so whenever my cousin comes over, she kind of shoves it in my face and always, oh, look how awesome Kayla is. Oh, she's the only one that can do this. And I'm like, so I sat down with her because we have weekly meetings between us to really learn to communicate because
I love that.
yeah, we all need it. They don't know how to communicate with each other. And as the person living in this household with them, I need you all to be able to communicate. So as we were sitting and my aunt's been struggling a lot, so I took it upon myself because I start the meetings with, opening with positivity and saying we all love each other and we are going to respect and listen to each other. And if we start to, raise we're going to check each other so that that doesn't happen. And I just expressed that to my grandma that, hey, Grandma, I know you have enough love to go around for all of us. And it does really hurt my feelings when Kayla comes over and you kind of shove it in my face. And I don't appreciate that, because then it's all your attention goes to her. And me and you are amazing when no one else is here. We have great talks. We're hanging out together. But when she comes, it's just like Xnet. It all stops. And for some reason, then me and her start kind of butting heads. And I did see that that was a trigger within myself, because I didn't talk to my grandma for 7 years. 7 years, because she picked a favorite over me. And I had to move out of here. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to be treated this way. I'm 16 years old, feeling like I don't want to be on this earth anymore. I need to get out. So like I begged my mom to move out of here. I was like, please take me away. I cannot live here in this situation anymore. It's too toxic. We hadn't spoken for months, like 6 months. Living in the same house, we didn't speak at all. So obviously now I'm healing all of those wounds. And yeah, so it's really nice to be able, I know it hurts her sometimes when I do express how much she affected my younger self, but I also appreciate all of them for what they had to do, because I wouldn't be in the place that I am if they did not give me that, and if I didn't have to heal from all of that stuff. But I'm in a great place, so it's really nice. And they're all changing and communicating, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I love that. I just want to say how awesome it is to hear on how self-aware you are, that you understand what it takes to be living in a childhood house where you've gone through so much trauma that your body remembers everything, right? Your body remembers on the cellular level. Can't even pronounce that word, but I'm going to continue pronouncing until I
got it.
Get it one day. On the cellular level, to a point where now you are actually like you're not able to understand everything that's happening and what's being triggered and what's happening, but what you're doing is you are approaching it from a leadership role and the best way you know how, and not just doing it for yourself, but doing it for the benefit of everyone involved that is part of this tribe that you're in. So it's incredible to hear that, of what you're doing and how you're doing it. Honestly, like anybody listening, take freaking notes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's so empowering, excuse me, to hear that, how you change the whole, like switch the situation. Like, oh, I'm like, wow, look at you, girl. Hell yeah. Go, go,
A lot
go.
of people, exactly, right, Bethany? Because a lot of people, they do not want to go back to the place where a lot of trauma was created because they are terrified and petrified of facing it and dealing it and overcoming it. But you are doing that, and you are setting an example of what is possible, right? Because most people don't want to deal because it's painful and they don't want to reopen the old wounds. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Well, we also don't know what's going to happen if we cross the street. Right?
Agree.
But we all know that if we don't deal with it, it will only get worse. Whether we know it consciously or subconsciously, we all know it.
Yeah.
We get to choose. Face it, stay where you are, or run away.
Yeah. And something I'm also kind of teaching them, because so I'm a very happy, just positive person all the time. And some days though, I just exist, if that makes sense.
Yes,
like
sense.
Right? Yeah. I don't have any emotion. I'm just kind of like blah. Like I'm not feeling depressed. I'm not feeling anything. I'm just kind of like, I'm here. Like I'm living in the moment. And in those times, sometimes I'm not like this. I'm just kind of mellow.
Yeah.
And my family takes it as I'm in such a bad negative space. And I just tell them, I don't have to be at 100% all of the time. And I'm still human. Like, don't think that I'm perfect. I'm not in any way. I have worked for years on myself, like 10 plus years. This has been a journey, and it is going to continue till the day I die. Okay. Yeah. But please don't ever put this in your head that I have all of my shit together, that I'm this perfect and I have to be perfect all the time, because there is no perfect. We're all imperfect people, you know? So it's teaching them that as well, that, hey, when I'm in my bad moods, or if I'm just kind of in that mood, I tell people, I'm like, hey, right now, if I say, you know, I might not be the happiest, but that's okay. I don't need to be. It's nothing to do with you. It's just my internal telling me I need to calm down and just kind of have like those rest periods and just kind of do me.
Yeah. It's a battery recharge. That's what I hear you say, is that being at 100% all the time, that's a battery, and it is draining and it is exhausting, even though it's awesome being there.
Yes.
But the battery sometimes goes down and down and down, and you follow the battery, and that is also your process and your way of recharging it and going back to your optimal state. But being at that optimal state all the time, which is, I also refer to that as like being in the flow and being in the zone, it is not possible for anyone to be there and live there. It's like level 7, right? Living at level 7 is impossible. Nobody resonates at that level. Nobody. We can all access that level 7, but nobody lives there. Nobody stays there for that long. And that is that 100% battery, right? But in order for us to get there, we have to go through all the other levels and experience life in all that it allows us to experience it, right? All of the good, the bad, the highs, the lows, the sadness, the joy, all of the human emotion spectrum, they only exist at different levels, not at one particular level. At level 7 is just flow, joy, and like being, right? And feeling whole and complete. It's one of, I'm sure all of you guys have been there. You know what I mean? Like, how would you describe level 7?
Oh, I feel for me, 7 would, I kind of felt it the other day, and it was kind of being outside of my body and just going with life and just going with the flow, and not having all of those egos and the gremlin and anything being in my forefront at all, and just kind of existing, being, like you say, just being very mindful of and being very aware of everything. And even my thoughts, I feel like at that point in time, I don't let my thoughts control me. And sometimes I just don't have thoughts. And it's funny because people always are like, you have to be thinking something. No, I don't. What do you mean? I can turn it off. I've learned how to just, you know, stay silent. My brain doesn't need to constantly tell me what to do all the time. I am in control. My mind is all my alter egos just, you know, giving me stuff. And sometimes I just need to silence them. Silence, you're away. Let me be in my body. Let me experience what I'm supposed to experience in this earth.
I'm just picturing you going to all of these parts of you going, I need to hear it right now. Shh, not right now, okay? I want silence. I want peace. Shh.
Oh, I do that a lot. I do. Ain't happening today. So don't even try me. Don't test me.
I'll ask one more question. And I'm gonna, and Bethany, you can respond to the same questions afterwards. So if you could give one emotion to level 7, what would it be?
I feel like for me, I would say bliss.
I feel like Bethany is like, he stole it.
Yeah, yep. I was like, oh, that's what I was thinking. But I also have another word, vibrant.
Ooh.
Yeah. For me, it's equilibrium.
Ooh.
Now, Bethany, tell me how you experienced level 7.
Level 7, when I'm in a level 7, I really have no opinion on anything, and I'm just like, all right, cool, yeah, all right, and it pisses everyone off around me because they're like, come on, you have to tell me what you want. And I'm just like, whatever. Or it's just like you're kind of like like you said, Meagan, like it's like an out of body experience, and you're like looking at everyone. You're not like judging. You're just kind of just experiencing everything and living through the motions and just enjoying being in the moment. Without all those distractions and the stillness in your mind, where it's just like, zen, you know?
Mm-hmm. And what takes you out of there?
My anger, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because that's something I've been working on a lot lately, is I noticed that my temper and my overreacting was really like my ego. She was so strong, and I've been feeling the ego death, and it's been the last couple months. It's been mentally a little like warfare, but it's been nice. And so it will switch to that anger real quick. Like, ooh, I'll experience it, and then something will set me off. Like the whole, like, well, you have to have something to say, and I'll be like, what do you mean? I can't just like be here, like, and so, and that's what I'm learning, is to be like, okay, well, I'm here, but let's get out of here now. Like, we went there, but yeah, that's anger brings on my anxiety. Like I said, it's a huge trigger, because I learned anger terrifies me because of my parents, or just anyone yelling at me, just in past relationships, family members. And it was a huge trauma that I was trying to stuff down. But it's cool to release and let it go. And I feel like this Kundalini yoga, I don't know, Meagan, if you've ever done it, but it is powerful. And I
haven't done
restarted
that
a
kind of
40-day
yoga.
challenge recently.
Okay.
And I've been feeling some motions and some positive stuff. And yeah.
Is it on like YouTube that you
Oh
follow?
yeah. Yep.
Ooh, send me.
Okay.
I have this amazing person. Her name is Adrienne.
Oh, I do her yoga all the time. Yeah. Yeah, she's amazing. With the Kundalini yoga, it's more of like a movement meditation. I actually every day right now on my personal page on Facebook, I've been jotting my journey down. So I'm on day 7. So there's a link, and I post the link to the yoga. So if people want to do it with me, they can.
Did I ever tell you both that I'm a yoga teacher?
Are you? Oh, no, that's amazing.
Where is my...
Oh.
That one up there is my yoga certificate.
Ooh, look at that.
Oh, congratulations.
So
That's amazing.
Huh?
What yoga do you teach?
Hatha and Ashtanga, but for me, my journey was for my own personal growth. When I went to India and I did this course, it was for me because I had been in a car accident the year before, and I really hurt my body. But I used yoga as a way for me to continue to move my body and to not let that accident control my body. And yes, again, I still have effects from it, but this helps me. And for me, I did try teaching yoga to people, and I don't mind when people follow me and join me. But for me, I like that practice of me and myself. And when I have to teach it, I'm not with myself because I have to get up, make sure you're doing it correctly. And so for me, as much as I love having that, I love doing it for my own personal, not to. And if I'm fine, my friends, my family, they're like, oh, let's do it. Heck yeah, please come do some yoga with me. I absolutely love when people join me. I will help and correct you a little bit, but because again, you know your body more than I know your body, and you know your limits. And that's the hard part with teaching people yoga, because they look at you and say, I have to do that. No, you don't. I've been doing this for a long time. You have not. Your body might not be able to look the way mine does or look at the way the other people. That's the funny thing. When you go to yoga studios, you see everyone just, and it's like, this is an individual sport.
Yeah.
You are in this by yourself. Move the way you want. I've even joined a lot of yoga classes, and they'll try to come and like push my body. And I just am like, no, I know my limit and I cannot go there, especially with my arms sometimes. I can't. And I know that. So for me, you aren't even being aware of your own participants and asking them if they have issues or problems. You're just making them into what you want them to look like and what you want to be. And I don't feel that that is a true yoga experience at all.
Yeah, I've
And
done yoga many times. And I used to go to hot yoga. And one of the things I noticed, some people would like look around, and it made me uncomfortable because it's being an intuitive and being sensitive. I feel the eyes on me. And I would be looking around like, who's looking at me? And I see people looking at me. I'm like, oh my God, why don't you just focus on yourself? You're taking me out of my time. Because when I would go to yoga, when I used to go to yoga, I would be just with myself. I've gone even with my sister, and I tune out everyone, and I'm just there by myself doing my thing. And other people's eyes burning in the back of my head and back of my ass doesn't right, let's be honest. um, it doesn't feel like I'm being in the flow. It feels like I'm being taken out. So that's one of the reasons why I stopped going and I stopped practicing yoga all entirely.
We can have yoga sessions. I'm so down. We'll all
I
just get
do
on Skype and do yoga sessions together.
I do yoga every day. I was gonna say your journey of yoga Meagan, sounds like mine because I started yoga because of my anxiety. I was just tired of it. So Kundalini took me out of that. But I really like to be by myself with it. I've never really gone to a class, I'll be honest. But like what Yana was saying, like, and you too, Meagan, like, it's just, I want to be with myself. And I feel like everyone around me, it's going to be a distraction. And I don't even practice with a yoga mat because I feel like a yoga mat distracts me. So I just like get down on the floor, and then I can do it anywhere because I have no limitations. Sometimes I'll go outside and I'll be like, all right, let's do some yoga. Like,
Yeah, I used to use
yeah.
yoga mats too, but when I used to go with my sister, she got me a Lululemon. It's like leather yoga mat. It's really thick, black, and I still have it. It's incredible, and I love it because it's like leather. And I use that mat every time I used to use it. And one of the reasons why I used to love going to yoga, the hot yoga that we used to go to, is because at the end, when we were all chilling and relaxing, right, and laying there and just absorbing everything, the lady that would be leading the class, she would come and she would put essential oil right on the forehead, and I'm like, oh my God, that would just melt me right into the ground. And sometimes some classes, when they were too hot and she could tell because we would be dripping with sweat, she would put a cold towel on top of that. And I like that would, to me, I'd be like gone. I'm passed out right into the music that they play. So yeah, and I've done the Kundalini yoga a couple of times. I loved it. I really did. But I found this, because it is very active and it moves certain parts of the body, that I would feel sore afterwards.
That's normal. That means you're releasing toxins and you're moving stuff and you're getting, yeah, that's good. You're supposed to feel sore after Kundalini yoga. It's more like mental yoga, but you do like movements. It's like between power yoga but not so like like flowy, like with all like the down dogs and all that kind of stuff. I don't
I
know.
love the people. Sorry. I
Oh
love
no,
the
it's okay.
people that like say yoga is like super easy. Okay, go and try it. And then they do, and they're like, oh my goodness, I'm so sore. Because you're moving muscles and stuff that you've never moved before. And that's what I love about yoga, because it makes you move every single part of you.
It
And we
gets
need more
down
of
deep
that.
and like all the
Mhm.
little like it's thoughts you didn't even know that needed it. Like sometimes I feel I'm sore in places I'm like, what is that? I've never felt that before. But I'm like, I must have been needing something. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
I figured out that if I were to teach yoga, I would want to learn Kundalini yoga. Because I did want to teach it for so long, but the fact of me wanting, like, for myself, it's a medicine. That's what, like, I was just like, it's more of my self care. But I have been thinking, like, if I were to teach, it'd be the Kundalini one because it's just
Yeah.
impacted my life so much.
Yeah. See, hearing this, Meagan, you talk about the reason why you don't want to teach it, and you, Bethany, the reason why you don't want to teach it because it's not so personal anymore because others are involved. And it reminded me of part of the show I watched on Netflix called documentary called Move. So this one guy, it's all about dance, right? They're the professional dancers. So one guy, he basically wakes up early in the morning and he spends the whole entire time dancing for himself, with himself, feeling and enjoying it. And then he would have a class and then he again. So because this is where you can tell that somebody is living in their like dream job, dream life, in their passion. I'm just using different words of what people would hear it and understand it. Um, Living their dream and teaching it to others as well, right? So he is loving, he loves what he does so much that he dedicates his whole entire life to it. And because he enjoys being alone, because there's so much to our craft, whatever it is that we are all good at, doing it alone on our own time with no prying ears or eyes, being able to get in the flow and in the zone. There's so much to it. But then we can take it that step further and allow others access to it in that window of time where it's teaching a class or leading a class, um, and then going back to do your own thing if you want.
Right. That balance. Yeah. If I really wanted to, I mean, I would, but I don't know. I want to do something with my writing. I figured out. That's where my life directed. Actually, I wrote 9 poems last night. Talk about empowered from that workshop, right?
Oh, Bethany,
Yeah.
something I was going to tell you because you do like writing. A good website for you is called Vocal,
Okay.
and you just put your articles up, and you get paid by per reads. Again, it's quite small, but if you have a huge following and stuff, then you can get
Ooh.
paid.
Thank you. I appreciate that's amazing. Ooh, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah,
Taking notes.
because they have like every category that you can think of on there.
Mhm. I'm gonna check it out.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you for that little gold nugget there.
Mhm.
No problem. Oh my, sorry, I really want to use this right now. So, and I got it at TJ Maxx yesterday, so it's like a crystal,
Mhm.
but this one also vibrates. Oh, my hands are too sticky, but it vibrates, so you just like do your face with it.
Ooh. I heard those are great.
It's amazing. Before I got on here, I was just doing it. I was like, some meditation while I'm doing my face.
I might consider getting one of those because I walk our winners. We have winners here. It's basically like a whole bunch of different things in one store, everything for the home. And then a bunch of those, like different white crystals, the rose quartz. And I kept looking, I'm like, not really sure what those are. I know I can tell that they're massages for face, but what's the benefit? What's the point aside from putting the actual crystal in the face?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm going to make sure that the one I get is going to be a vibrating one that massages my face. Because what I have been doing so far is we have a handheld massager, like for the back and shoulder. So I would put it on my face, massaging until it's like so sore and I gotta like scratch it. Now I'm like, maybe I should go and use it. Yeah, and I would always put on my head all around, and then my hair would get tangled up. I'm like, ow, that hurt. Okay, let's hold my hair down. I'll do it again.
Yeah, this one's good. Your hair is not going to get stuck or anything. It's just
I like it.
Right? I was out yesterday. I really need it. And then I was standing in line because I just started this yesterday. But my shopping for people and then going and bringing it to them. So yesterday I had to sit in line for Target. I literally brought this. I was just doing it in the line. Like, well, I got nothing else to do. And people were just like staring at me. I'm like, I don't even care. This feels so good. Judge me all you want. I don't care.
I would have offered it to people. Oh, would you like to use it? You want to try?
Right.
Really great. Just go next door. You can get it, man.
Yeah, next door. They got a bunch there. Vibrator for the face.
Right? Why not?
Why not?
We have it for the back, right? Because the massager is a vibrator.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we've tried one of those that you stick on and it sends like these shocks. So my husband wanted it. I'm like, okay, you put it on, you tell me how it feels. And then I tried it on myself, I put it on the back, and it's one of these like where the arm just goes, I'm like, oh my God, take it off. I don't like this involuntary jerks.
I have this really amazing massage gun. It's like a deep tissue massage gun. I have it, it's downstairs. But I can take a picture and send it to you guys because it was like the best $50 I spent on Amazon. And this thing, like, it has like different head attachments and you turn it on and it just like pounds on those sore muscles. Like when I get like a tension right here, I just turn it on and it has like a bunch of different speeds. And it's like, instead of going to a deep tissue massage person, like you could do that. I do it for Brian when he gets muscle spasms from tattooing. So.
I wonder if that's one, because mine also comes with a bunch of different attachments. It has this white little stand that you can go. It's a white one, like kind of longish, and different tips on it.
Does it look like a gun? Like
a longer one. It's kind of like a long stick like that.
Okay, mine's a little different. Mine's like it's like a handle, and then you have the part on that you stick, and it like.
Yeah. So then it's different. Yeah.
But it's amazing.
Massage table as well from Amazon. Ooh. Because my husband is 6'5", right? So for him to give me a massage, even on the bed, it's too low, so it hurts his back, right? And with a massage table, you can lay there comfortably. It wasn't actually that expensive. I think it was like $150. We looked at a bunch of different ones, and it folds away, and we store it under the bed. So want a massage? Okay, let's pull that out. You lay down,
a nice husband,
hole, and put the phone there at the bottom. We'll take turns doing massages. We ran out of massage, also I had to buy one, and yeah, it's really really nice, and it goes high, so nobody's back hurts. And also, you know how when you go to a massage place, you are able to reach the person from all the sides, whereas on the bed, you can't.
Yeah, right? And it gets awkward.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm like, fine, you want a massage table? Let's go. Let's get one.
I like it. That's a good compromise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that massage gun was our compromise. Like I give Brian massage. We'll trade massages, but that massage gun is like, my arms are a little sore from yoga or whatever. I'm like, all right, we're going to use this a little bit tonight.
Yeah. Now we're all like all relaxed massage.
I know.
I'm like
I
thinking
can
about it. I'm
feel
like,
it.
that would be so nice. It's like,
I wonder if everybody who's listening, he's getting the same vibe. Oh, I want a massage right now. So
Right.
just chill.
that's great self-care. Great self-care.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
you release toxins that are stored in the body.
The tension, the stress,
Yes.
letting it all go.
Actually, I definitely agree with that because sometimes, like, when my back wouldn't be sore, but I would feel like just a block, right? That's the only way I can explain it at this point. I feel like a block, that something feels off. So I'll go get a massager and I'll massage myself fairly gentle. And then by the couple of hours go by, and wherever I massage, I can feel really, really sore. Like I was like punched there so hard a couple of times. I'm like, ooh, what block did I just release from that spot? Right. And I always come up with something. When I say come up, I mean intuitively I know what it is,
Mm-hmm.
or someone that attaches themselves to my back.
Mm-hmm.
Energetic drain connection. So,
That's
yeah,
crazy that you say that because I visualize, usually I ask myself, what is this? And I usually visualizes in my head like a point in my life where I'm holding on to this, and it's crazy.
yeah. There's a lot about it. Like there, or I mean, there's a lot about it and a lot to it. There's even something I watched in the show. I can't remember what it was. Grey's Anatomy. So one of the guys, he went to this psychiatrist and, or I think it was psychiatrist. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Professional. He went to a professional who did, who had, who was basically doing this specific kind of therapy where he would ask, where are you feeling it in your body? Right? And based on where you're feeling in your body, he can help you to identify what it is. He would ask certain questions, and then what he was doing on one part is like he would have his hand out in front, and he would ask him a question, and then put the hand down, and it's not moving. Okay, so it's not it. He would ask him another question, put the hand down. It's not it. He would ask him another question, put the hand down, and it moves because it weakens. Right?
Oh.
He'd be like, okay, so that's it. Now he would go and ask follow-up questions based on this new finding. And then again, back to this until he gets to all the root causes and answers. So I thought, I'm like, oh, I believe in energy. There's Donna Eden that I follow on YouTube, and I came across her on Mind Valley. So Donna Eden, she is like an energy guru. She, long story short of hers, she was really sick when she was young, and she healed herself through energetic work. She figured it out on her own by playing around with energy herself. So now she helps others to do the same. Um, and uh, and yeah, so when he was doing that, I'm like, ooh, that's energy. And it reminded me of one of the things that Donna Eden was teaching in one of these classes that I attended, where you can tell what food you're eating, if it's for you or not, and how much of it you should be eating. And it's really just kind of like standing and bouncing forward or backwards.
No way. I do that all the time. I was taught that as well. But about that, so I have another one you guys would probably really love about energy. So you take a necklace, okay? And let me go grab my necklace really quick because you can like use a crystal. So
I don't
I got taught this in India. So you take something that's hanging, wrap it around your fingers a few times so that it's just kind of like dangling, okay? Now hold your hand up. Make sure it's still. So the first thing you want to do is you have to make sure your chakras are in a line. Unfortunately, I don't know what to do if your chakras are out of line. So what you're going to do, Yana, is in your head, you're going to pick two names. One of them is going to be your name. The other one's just going to be a random name, okay? So I'm going to ask you to say those names in your head, not out loud. When I say stop, so you're just gonna like, let's say you pick Yana for the first one. You're gonna say Yana, 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 Yana. I'm gonna say stop. And then you're gonna say the other name in your head over and over and over and over again. Okay? Okay, so pick whatever name, don't tell me which one. So pick one name and start.
Okay.
Just keep saying it in your head. Now, can you tell me, is your crystal moving back and forth, or is it moving in circles?
It's a little bit kind of like back and forth and in the circle.
Okay, now stop and do the other name. Keep saying it. Just keep repeating it. What's that one doing? Nothing?
It's kind of like going at an angle, like back and forth, but at an angle this way. Oh, because I mean, it's a flat kind
No,
of.
no, that's fine. Okay, was the first one your name?
The first one, no.
Interesting. Okay, so your chakras actually might be a little out of line. So typically what happens is like when you're in line, it's supposed to do like big circles. So anyways, you ask it a question. Yes, typically is always circles. No is always going to be a back and forth motion. And I don't know, it usually just doesn't move at all.
Mhm.
I love this thing. I one time went against it and I said, I will never not listen to my necklace ever again. So especially when I'm in those head times where I really don't know what decision to make, and I'm always wearing this, so I just pull it out and I'm just like, all right, let's ask myself, and it'll give me the answer. What like I truly need to do in that moment.
Oh, I'm gonna practice that. I know that I have one that is the 7 chakra colors.
Ooh, okay.
There's a specific name for it that people actually use, and it's like a special chain. It's not a necklace; it's an actual chain, and
Okay.
straight down. I want to call it pendulum, but I'm not sure if that's what it's called. But anyways, so I got that without knowing what it was, and now I have it, and maybe I'll start doing that.
I would say it's a beautiful practice. I'm like, wow, like, and that makes me be like, I don't own a necklace, to be honest. I don't have one because I have my chest piece, so I don't wear jewelry really. My ring and my plugs, my nose piercings, that's all that I wear. I don't have bracelets. I don't know. It's not something I want, I guess. But now I'm like, well, maybe I should get one. All right. Should. Ooh.
I just got this on the chart a couple of weeks ago. It's like crystal.
Yeah. What kind is it? Do you know? Don't worry, I always forget the names of my crystals. The only ones I really know are rose quartz and my amethyst, because for me growing up, amethyst was my stone. I always gravitated towards it and I always had to have it on me. Whether it was like a ring I had, a necklace, I always had to have it. But now in this transitioning time, my favorite amethyst necklace is in Europe. I do know where it is. It just hasn't found its way back to me. But I think the universe is telling me I do need another crystal to go through this different period, because the amethyst was there to protect me and my emotions when I needed it. But now I need another one to kind of transform me into something else. So this one is actually really good for change in your life. And when you're changing, it helps you to have a smooth transition in life.
Is that a moonstone?
Oh, I forgot what it was called. I looked it up yesterday. It's like, starts with an O.
Opal. That's also another word. I think for that one might be moonstone. I have a bunch of crystals. Where did I know I was just using them with my daughter and I put them somewhere.
I tried to get into crystals, but I just never did. It's not my thing. You know, teaches us. Yeah,
it's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. It's one of those things that some people are called and like feel pulled towards the water. Some people are nature. For me, I do have a bunch of crystals. I don't know if you guys can see them in my little box.
Oh my God, I love them.
This is turquoise.
Oh, that is beautiful.
This one right here is
oh, I know that. I have that.
Special pyrite because it has multiple colors. I have a plain pyrite as well. Then I have pink quartz. I have hematite. Yeah, I know a couple of these stones, and then some of them I forgot what they're called. Red jasper, I think, or something like that. Jasper, green jade as well. This is my kid's favorite one. This is copper.
Ooh.
And it's good for pain relief. So I meditate with it when I have pain. And I also have solid copper piece as well. This one is heavy.
Oh, wow.
So again, I meditate with this one when there's pain. What else do I have? There's also, if I remember, this one is South African marble or something like that.
Ooh. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that you're also into crystals.
Tiger's eye. I love this one. I've known this one since I was a child. I'm not quite sure what this one is yet. It's kind of like orangey in the end and white in the middle. I can't remember. I got to look at my papers. And then
we just need to have a whole session on crystals, I feel like.
I'm really interested in them. Like I honestly, I had this thing for a while full of crystals, and it broke. And ever since it broke, I just like got out of I don't know. It's just like I had the crystals for a time period when I like needed them. Like they helped me feel protected. So it was like a bunch of like amethysts and like tiger's eye, just like a fun. I can't remember them all.
Yeah.
But you know, it broke, and then ever since then, I don't know. I never.
My favorite one. This is selenite.
Shit.
This is a cleansing stone, and when I saw this big one, I'm like, "Ooh, I'm taking this. I'm gonna cleanse the shit out of my house."
Oh, there are crystals all around my room. They are in each corner of my room protecting. There's something in this house. There's an energy in this house. And I'm like, you will not come to my room. You will not actually come into this house. Okay. Especially if it's negative. It likes to get negative sometimes.
Yeah.
I have to sit there and I'm like, I am more powerful than you. And I will. Oh, I have my sage too. Where's my.
For me, I do Reiki energy healing, like the music. Like I put that stuff on, and that's how I cleanse my house. I do it every Sunday. It's like my weekly cleansing. But yeah, that's why I don't do the stones though. I like the energy healing and all that.
I feel like it all kind of works together. I've been getting my family into even saging because there's a lot of stuff in this house, and I'm like, you also need to be involved in clearing it and speaking those positive things back into this house and not allowing that, because there's been just so much negative here. And it's so powerful sometimes here. And again, I'm glad that I'm here because I do feel like I am the most powerful person that can get rid of this energy in this place. But sometimes it comes and it hits me, and it likes me when I'm about to go to sleep too, because I think it knows like at that point I'm not fully like conscious all the time.
Yeah.
So it like wants to come, and I just sit in my bed and I'm like, you are not welcome. Get the hell out of here. I'm not gonna deal with you. Get the F out. Like, we're not playing this game right now. I don't care that I'm about to go to bed. I will still protect this house even when I'm sleeping, okay?
Yeah. I got my mother-in-law got into the saging. I mentioned it one time, I think over a year ago, and then I also had my son, because before we started doing the basement, I let my son burn the sage, and he was, of course, obviously loves it because so much smoke and you get to blow in it. He was having so much fun. So I had him sage the basement with me, obviously with me watching him because he gets really excited. Fire. I mean, I don't know any kid doesn't like fire. I can tell you another story of me burning down my grandparents' outhouse down to the ground one day.
Good job.
Yeah. So they had nowhere to go for a while. So anyways, I did a little video of that and I posted it on Facebook. And then also had a couple of conversations with my mother-in-law, and maybe just one conversation even. And from that day on, once in a while I go and I buy her sage because she asked me, she runs out of her sage, and can you grab me sage? I'm like, yeah, sure. How many you need? Right. So yeah, I just got her two, I think 2 weeks back. Yeah. And then with this crystal, and that's another reason why I bought it. So this was $16, which is
Only 16? What?
and that's, I'm like, ooh, they screwed up on price. I am taking it. So this was $16. This was $6. And this is like,
Yes.
so
If I saw that for six, yep.
I did not question. I'm like, 16. Yes. And they only had one. Otherwise, I would have bought another one and given it to somebody else. But yeah, so I had this in the basement. And then when I was just going through my box, because I had it in the basement so I can put it in my office when we have it ready. And then I just thought, like, you know what? I'm going to go through my box. There's something in there that I need without knowing what it was. And then I saw this. I'm like, oh, found it.
Nice.
Put it on my desk. And honestly, it made a world of difference. Now that I'm really like kind of replaying since I brought it out, I've been feeling a lot more balanced and clear just having this piece of machinery.
No, it's great. I feel so different if I'm not wearing a crystal. I can feel like if I walk out of this house without one, I'm like, I'm a little off balance right now. Why? And then I'm like, oh, because I don't have a crystal kind of grounding me. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about yoga meditation. If I don't do my AM meditation and yoga, I just feel imbalanced.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Awesome. This was a nice and awesome and full of information.
Yeah. All different. We all have all different like things. I love that. That's so cool. We all brought something different to the table, and I just love our conversations. I'm so grateful for the time we have together. It's
honestly, I believe that this is the biggest key to these types of conversations, because if we brought the same thing to the table, that's not fun to talk about the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's fun to exchange different thoughts, opinions, and challenge one another once in a while, right? Because I feel like at some point I challenged Meagan with something she said, and I'm like, ooh, I feel like I challenged her. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna feel bad because it was meant to be. But
everything happened. It is what it is. My shirt.
I like it.
From each other, and I would love to hear what our listeners or viewers, depending on where they're listening to, what did you learn, right? Whoever's listening, what did you learn from this whole entire hour of us gibbering and jabbering away? One thing.
Have a girl time.
Yeah, you said it yesterday, and it's funny because I use it on all my podcasts. So it's funny when you said it yesterday because you were like, oh, these are some teachable moments. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's like my whole podcast, it's just like, oh, take away some teachable moments from here. And I was like, yep, Yana's on my same wavelength.
Yeah, let's vibe together.
So I hope people take some teachable moments away from our conversation, because I love how open we all are and how deep we are going, because we're not, this surface level, like, oh yeah, I mean, we could do this. It's like, no, this is what's really helping us in life. And we have found what centers ourselves, and everyone's different. Everyone has their own thing that will help them in life. And just because it helps me doesn't mean it's going to help someone else. Just like Bethany. Bethany is not really a crystal person. That's okay. A lot of people aren't. But some people are really connected. Some people, like different things, and that's okay. But find your passion, find those things that, help you out of your emotions, help you out of that gremlin or, whatever, that ultra ego that you have. Find that peace within yourself.
Let your originality and your uniqueness fly. Mm-hmm. Show it to the world. Everyone wants
exactly.
Because we're all unicorns.
Yes, and we get to share how we are not perfect, how we're still working through our stuff. But what we are all doing, from what I hear, and correct me if I'm wrong, but all of us are here working towards self mastery,
Yes.
right? And mastering ourselves and our life and building a life that we actually, each and every one of us desires to live. I love that word, desire. So, and then the other thing,
Right. He's
yeah,
coming.
sneaking in very
We got
quietly.
Christmas presents that came. Uriah's Christmas presents are coming, so we're having to like hide them in the room.
Yeah, I had to hide mine. And I gotta wrap them. Oh crap! I gotta wrap some presents this week because my family's coming over on Friday for my daughter's birthday to really just, at a distance, exchange gifts. Because unfortunately, this year we're not going to be celebrating anything with anyone.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate, but at least there's, this the internet, so we could all still stay connected. Because like having my family in California and us in Michigan, we do have a family that adopted us pretty much here. So I mean, we might see them, we might go out to see them, but I don't know. We're just going with the flow.
That's all we can do, right? Yeah.
How I got rid of my control. Just go with the flow, Meagan.
Yeah.
Let go.
It's hard. It's so hard to let go of that control because that's something I clung on to for so long. But when I let go, it was like, oh my gosh, I can breathe again. Like I don't feel all like all tense. Yeah.
Yeah. Control does come from level 2.
Yeah. Yep. Ego. Yeah. I've been doing a lot of ego work, as you probably are like picking up
on. Every day, I still am working on it.
I am.
Again,
if I want to be the best version of myself that I can be every day.
I love it. It's all we can do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, ladies, this was absolutely incredible. We're just going to be getting better and better and better each week, whatever the better means.
Right? Yeah.
I'm looking forward to our next week now. I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. I was looking forward to this all week. I was like, ooh, and then like having the workshops, I'm like, what? This is gonna be so cool. Like 3 days in a row? Hell yeah. I'm game. Like
yeah.
Can we end with what we are appreciative of?
Yes.
Because I really want to say, Yana, like, because of you and these talks, like, I really appreciate you. You have made me be more intentional with my words. So even editing last week's, I felt that I just want to speak but it's not intentional. And you made me sit because I hear you. And I used to be like that before I came back into this craziness. I would just be very intentional with what I said and listen to myself before I said it. So going back and seeing you like embody that, you inspired me. And I was like, this week I'm going to be more intentional with what I'm saying to them and just put my words into the way they need to be. So I really appreciate you. And Bethany, you're just amazing. Yeah. Like I love that you are so authentic and that you really, really say, what is the truth. And I love that about you. And that you can actually dig deep and say, hey, these are my problems. And this is what this is how I'm fixing it. This is how I'm working on it. Because many people struggle with that. And so I appreciate that you are doing that self-work because I'm also doing it. So it makes me feel very connected to you, that knowing that we're on that same wavelength together.
Definitely. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I'll have to say for Yana, I appreciate the life coaching we did together, all the growing moments, all of our girl chat to get me to this point, because really without you there. And I know I've told you this multiple times. I think I just told you it yesterday too. But it's just I had that outlet to where I felt like I was heard, and I had that accountability partner when I couldn't find it in myself. And then for you, Meagan, like I really appreciate our connection. Like some of the stuff you challenged me too. With the whole crystal thing, I was kind of like, all right, well, why don't I want to do the crystals? So I appreciate that about you, and your podcast is beautiful, and I just love your traveling too. Your traveling is super, super inspiring to me as well. I was telling Brian last week, I'm like, oh my God, so Meagan, like I was telling him all about you. I'm like, she has this podcast, and but yeah, so
Thank
Yeah.
you.
oh, you're welcome.
Thank you, ladies. Honestly, my husband knows and heard about both of you. He knows who Bethany is. He's starting to know who Meagan is, because Bethany has been in my life for 2 years now.
Yeah.
So he knows who Bethany is exactly. And both of you guys are absolutely incredible and inspirational and incredibly self-aware. I absolutely love that, and I admire that in both of you. And Meagan, thank you for the honestly, I don't think I speak intentionally. I speak intuitively. And it just whatever comes out. There is no plan. There's really no because having gone through coaching, I've learned to listen to what the person is saying instead of thinking of what I'm going to say next, because that's usually what would happen. And what I've learned from that is I would silence my mind, and just whatever came to mind, I would speak and stick to it, even if it was uncomfortable. Right. And I sense that both of you guys are doing the same thing. So, which basically means is you guys are speaking intuitively about whatever you feel like needs to be said in this moment, and you own it and very open about it, and not take anything back that you say, which I love. So thank you. True unicorns.
Yeah, thank you. And I was gonna say, when you brought up that whole thing about being open and not taking back your words, that whole thing, we talked about the names that I have told very few people, because I'm like, I don't want people to think I'm crazy over here, I have like multiple.
We're all crazy, but we're all good crazy.
Right. It's true. It's true. It's so true. But yeah, but I had to be like, okay, you know what? No, I'm owning this. I said it. It's out there now, but it feels good that it's out there. Yeah.
One of the things I tell myself and remind myself when I feel like I am the oddball, that I'm crazy, that people will think I'm crazy, is that the world has been built on crazy.
Yeah.
We would not be living in the world that we're living in right now if it was not for crazy people. Right. They're only crazy until they reach whatever it is that they are going after, and then everyone else looks at themselves like, ooh, maybe we were the crazy ones.
Yeah.
So
yeah, being your unique self.
Exactly.
You are the unicorn, unique unto itself.
And they will call you crazy for being unique and for being your individual self.
Yep. And now I own it. And I'm just like, yep, that's me.
Right?
Yeah, I do dance. That's me.
Well, thank you both for being exactly who you are, because you both are incredible women. And I love you both so much. I know I haven't known you for that long, but I really do love you guys.
Love grows for me so quickly. I just let it grow. And I feel the same. Yeah.
I feel like Meagan, you and I met 2 months ago? November.
Yeah.
Has it been a month yet or no?
I don't even think it's been a month yet.
Yeah, I've only met you just 2 weeks ago, and I feel like I've known you for how it was with Yana. I felt like I've known her for my whole life, and I feel like the same with you. It's just a part of our tribe. We're finding our tribe.
Exactly.
I'm so shocked. I'm like, holy jeebus, it hasn't even been a month, and I feel like I've known you for years.
Crazy. Time is a construct of our human mind.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's honestly, my intuition tells me that it's because all three of us were connected and together somehow in our past lives.
I was just
probably.
about to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I read your mind. See, we are
You did.
connected.
Yeah, I was like, I was gonna say that, and then you said it right now, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I also started recognizing with my husband and I. It's really weird that I'll think something, exact same words, and then he says it. I'm like, fuck off. No way. I was just thinking that.
Yeah, I know how that is. It's crazy. Like one time we were thinking about the same kind of food we wanted, and we looked at each other like, what the fuck? Like, okay. Get out of my head. Like, but it's empowering. It's really awesome.
And that's connection right there.
Great minds think alike. I like
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah. Well, awesome. We've been saying bye for like 10.
I know,
right?
Girl, bye. Well, and this one thing. Hold on, one more. That's normal. It's normal.
Oh, I love it. So, anyways, bye for now.
All righty.
Yes.
We'll see you next week. Have
Yeah.
a wonderful day. Oh, that's not a heart. What is this?
Yeah, that is a heart.
Sorry.
What?
Almost.
No. Do you see what I was doing with my hands?
Got balls. Yeah.
Now to end that on that note.
Yeah. That's right.
Right.
Silly note. Laughter. I love it. Anyways, all right. I will talk to
Okay.
you guys next week.
Okay.
I love you guys.
Thank you.
Bye, ladies.
Bye. Bye.